really hard to be nice. It's really hard to have patience. And so meeting our customers where they're at, understanding like if this isn't a good day for them, that's why they're here.
Yeah.
How do we respect that, and how do we meet them where they're at, again, like you said, so they leave feeling better than when they walked in before they've ever taken a supplement. Before they put anything in their body, how do they leave feeling better?
Welcome to the Naturally Retail Podcast, hosted by George Goodwin and BRM Media. This is where we sit down with retailers, founders, and industry leaders to share real stories, real strategies, and what actually works in today's real world. If you're in the industry or building something on your own, you're in the right place. Enjoy this next episode and make sure to like, subscribe, and follow.
We're at Expo West live shooting a podcast at Vitamin Retail Media's booth. I'm pretty pumped to have a retailer here, that two co-owners. You guys have a fantastic story. I got a little pre-taste of it before and learned a little bit about the operations and how I don't want to give it away. So I'm going to stop right there. But thank you for joining me. My name's George, and we have Laura and
Alina.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So I kind of wanted to learn a little bit about your guys' experience in the retail space and how you guys started. And then now where are you guys in the industry and how you guys got the operations?
Sure.
Whoever would like to go first.
Sure, I can. We were just saying I've been coming to Expo West since 2006. I've worked at Mastel since 2002. I started there. It was my after-school job in college.
Very cool.
And I have continued there. Took a little bit of time off, but always came back. Because it was the place that fulfilled me the most, and I have a lot of passion for the industry, and I love being an independent store. It has just allowed us to really make it exactly kind of what we want to see from an independent health food store.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I joined Mastel's Health Foods in 2017 after Lauren had come back from an expo.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, oh my gosh, everyone's asking, what's our Instagram? Where's the Facebook? What are you guys doing on social media?
Yeah.
And as a legacy, long-time health food store, a lot of them at that time.
Wait, how old are you guys?
The store has been around since 1968.
What? That's awesome.
Yeah. But so they didn't really have much online presence. They were kind of really focused. We're only brick and mortar, have never sold online, still don't. And so I came on and was like, I can shoot some social media pictures for you. I can do some of that part-time. And then it kind of has just snowballed with retail experience on my side. And our partnership grew and grew. And then John Mastel, our founder, as he was getting older, there wasn't like a set succession plan already. And so we really were like, we need to seize this opportunity for our community and the industry, like everything. It was like, we can't let it go away. And so after the pandemic, we were like, what do we need to do to make this happen? We love this place. We love our team. So here we are.
Yeah, I'll say too, in 2021, we were selected as the Vitamin Retailer of the Year.
That's awesome.
And we were not store owners at that point. I was managing. Alina was, the marketing manager, and we got Vitamin Retailer of the Year. And all of a sudden, it felt like we are really doing this, and we're being recognized, and this is happening, and we can do this. And that was such an amazing recognition and encouragement that really kind of got us thinking. Like Alina had said, the pandemic as well. Like, we really need to keep this going. We are doing it. We're being recognized. Let's figure out how to make this ours so that we can continue it on for the next 50 years.
That's awesome. So you guys have been around. The store, brick and mortar, has been around for a while. How did he get into the business? Do you guys know that?
Yeah, John started the store. Like a lot of people get into the industry, he was ill. He had an illness. He had been in the hospital for a long time, and he was given a copy, legendarily, of Prevention magazine. Back in the 60s, there weren't a lot, the industry looked very, very different, but Prevention magazine was around. So somebody gave him a copy, and he read it, and he started thinking about his diet. And there weren't a lot of supplements back then, but there were some, and he got really interested in it. He was working at the State Department for the highways, and he ended up consigning some products from a health food store that was in town already, and worked it kind of nights and weekends, and eventually was able to transition out of his job at the state to do it full time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of what you said. Like, I feel like everyone that gets into this industry had something, or maybe it's just even you want to see other people being healthier and take those decisions. Do you guys have any experience? Like, sounds like, and then for me, I grew up in a I'm a fourth generation grocer. My family has 3 little health food stores, and kind of grew up in it. Kind of thought I wanted to leave it, and then you come back, and then you're like, maybe it wasn't my when I was younger. Maybe I was like, I want to be an astronaut, but then like later on, you're like, oh well, I'll just help with marketing, and I'll help with pushing the family history, and you get to see these customers that come in maybe with a sickness or wanting to make those health decisions to be healthier. What was kind of that your experience was?
It was similar. So I was working, I mean, I still have my original job application that, the reasons why I wanted to work there that I put down where it was close to my house, and that I wanted to support small businesses. And I'm always curious what 19-year-old me really thought like the importance of small business was, but evidently there was a kernel of truth in there.
Yeah.
And then, I did. I left and I went and did other things. And the joke kind of was I was coming back to Mastels while I was figuring out what I really wanted to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
And here we are. It just, there was nothing else that fulfilled me.
And you're
nothing else like, being able to have somebody come back, they've taken a supplement that you told them about, and they came back and they said, I feel better.
Wow.
That feeling is incredible. And I think a lot of us that are in this, as a service industry, really feel like we are just, we're helpers. We want to see people better. We want to raise the people around us up. And there's nothing else that compares to it for me.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Alina?
I have kind of, a wiggly path. Like I feel like most people do. After I graduated high school, I actually attended the Aveda Institute, which is in it's Minneapolis, and
cool.
Horst had started it as Aveda back then. It was still his company as Ayurvedic focused, and he had this most amazing programs developed there with clean beauty products. And so that was, and he had a whole, I learned about neti pots there at school and stuff. So that was kind of my introduction, and had always grown up with my mom's a naturalist. My dad's a toxicologist. So it was kind of best of both worlds there, the science and the nature.
Very
and
cool.
So, I think that's why Lauren and I became besties in about the year 2005. And so I think that's why we were like drawn to each other as friends, having a similar interest in the industry and talking about this kind of stuff. So, kind of, and then as a parent too, really involved in like natural parent, once I became a mom, I was like, well, I want clean, healthy, safe options for myself and my child. And so that, entered that avenue. So we all have our expertise at the store.
That's
all the different staff have different things that they're really focused on. So people tend to come to me for skincare and beauty and some of that stuff still. Or some stuff for like, kids or now teenagers, of course. But so it's kind of, felt natural.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Can you tell a little bit more for the listeners and the viewers, like how is like the layout of the store kind of? It's one of the oldest probably health food stores in Minneapolis.
It is. At this point, we are the oldest. Started in 1968. We've been in our current building since 1977. And we are 800 square foot brick and mortar. We have right now over 5,000 SKUs active.
Wow.
So it's quite a, bit of a little jigsaw puzzle fitting everything in to keep it faced and nice and merchandised well.
Very
so you
cool.
can find things. We have 14 people on staff. And so because we really are, almost sometimes just to be able to find what you're looking for, we're one-on-one with you when you come in the door. We're available to
like
help
a personal
you find
shopping assistant.
Truly, because I think a lot of what people are looking for, they're overwhelmed. There is so much that's available online, and they're reading about it. It's in popular culture, it's on social media, but they also hear that supplements aren't regulated. They hear that it's not. They don't really work. They're not tested. They all of those things. So what we try to do is really walk people through finding the actual supplements that work, the ones that have the clinical data, the ones that are coming from reputable manufacturers, and we'll take you through and we'll help you find that that fits with you. And because we're one-on-one with you, we can talk about your budget, we can talk about your lifestyle, we can talk about all of those things. And really kind of dive deeper with our customers that way. And I think they really respond. And anymore, just being able to walk into a store where you're greeted or you call the store and a human answers. It's always somebody. It's a live person. There's no press one to hear it's truly
someone
like
in the other country
every time. And so
very cool.
We really just, as a small business, I think in our neighborhood that we're in Macroland and St. Paul really does support us as well. hugely for that.
That's awesome. I mean, I think like there's this community aspect to a little hub, and it's the grocery stores. I think it really is the vitamin stores that's fueling the community to be better and actually to promote their longevity and to make them whatever they're going through one step healthier or better. So it's so cool to hear. When I think of like legacy, and this store has probably seen so many different things. I'm curious if you could maybe talk about like the legacy that you walked into to now what you guys are doing now that you since COVID have, you know, taken over the store. And I think it's so cool to hear even to listeners that work for retailers and having that opportunity to buy out the owner. I think that's so cool. So what was like the legacy before and what legacy are you building?
I mean, really, I think we are continuing the legacy, and I think really built almost yes, high quality supplements, really, really good products, but it's the customer service. I think that we strive to continue on. Wow. Just like really, really, really good, authentic connection with people.
Very cool.
And that I think really is the legacy.
I always think about, Lauren had told me a story once that Mastel's at one point had thousands of books, and it's still in that 800 square feet. So most of that, retail space was books, and it was where people would come pre-internet to learn. Like people were coming to share information and to share stories and what's worked, what hasn't worked. And that was such a knowledge focus that legacy we have really maintained with our trainings, with our, educating the customers. And then even now, as the internet has come up, of course, helping them navigate websites. Like some of our customers, for sure, we're definitely like helping them to navigate things online and research and where to find PubMed articles and how to read them. Very cool. Label reading and
they trust us.
They trust us.
They trust us, and we do a lot, and that trust is really important.
Wow.
And so when we make decisions, when we commit to a brand, or when we decide to bring something in, our trust that trust relationship is on the line, and so we do have really high standards because we need to be able to preserve that trust. And we there have been missteps along the way, surely, but we can correct quickly. And and make sure that when people come in, that they can really trust what we're offering, trust what we say, and we help them to be able to advocate for themselves and their health.
Very cool. It makes me think of my mom. So my mom would always tell me, sometimes a customer comes in and they're furious, and you could do one of two things. One, they could leave more mad and tell everyone how angry about their experience with it, or they could leave and be your best customer. And so I think with especially the smaller independents, I think we do tailor to that customer service. We do want the best genuinely for them, and we put our heart on the sleeve with the products we sell. We're not trying to sell everything. We know what we feel best represents us, and so I think that you kind of hit when you shared that. I thought that was a great point.
And I think too, a lot of times when people are coming in, we might be the last resort. They might have tried a lot of things, and we have to recognize that we might not be seeing people on their best day. They're there because they don't feel good. Sometimes, and so recognizing that when you don't feel good, it's really hard to be nice. It's really hard to have patience. And so meeting our customers where they're at, understanding like if this isn't a good day for them, that's why they're here. How do we respect that, and how do we meet them where they're at, again, like you said, so they leave feeling better than when they walked in, before they've ever taken a supplement, before they put anything in their body. How do they leave feeling better?
How do you guys, being in the industry, it's cool to hear how he has that whole book collection and you educate your staff. There's so many outlets of information. How do you guys get your information? I'm sure Vitamin Retail Magazine is a great plug right there. But what other resources do you feel are pretty important to you?
I definitely do spend time with our Instagram account, following other people, seeing what's out there, seeing what's happening, still reading blogs even. I'm not a huge TikTok person, but I have a 16-year-old son, Ruben, who now works for the store.
Awesome.
And so I am now starting to be like, what are you seeing? What's happening out there?
Trends?
What are you hearing about in some of our other younger employees? Like, because will I always know what the hip thing is forever. Like, I acknowledge that I will probably lose touch at some point. At one point, I would have had my finger right on the pulse, but maybe not as much anymore. But of course, trade shows like Expo West, I mean, invaluable to be able to come and just see what's happening and what's new and what's launching and the trends and the flavors. You see the flavor trends come through, and being able to seize those moments as they're happening.
Very cool. Yeah, I think these trade shows are great. Some of the big ones. This one's great. It's very overwhelming sometimes for first time individuals, but then there's also like the smaller ones. I think that those always help as well.
Yes.
Positive or Naturally Independent Expo. It's in November this coming year, the 13th, I believe. But that's always a great one too. Just getting more one-on-one time, because you get to talk to some of the individuals that created the product, and they're going to be the ones that have the passion of the stories and what resonates with you to bring that same story to your customers. So I think there's a lot of great information there.
100%,
Cool. When you think of, I guess, in a sense of the future of your operations, what excites you about the natural space and what you guys are doing?
I mean, we're physically limited in the amount of space that we have right now.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of digging a little bit more into our operations. I think continuing to see the industry evolve in terms of technology for the products that are available. We continue to train a lot with our brands. Just seeing what's new. And I think the more that the industry develops, the more research is there, the less likely those people who come in and say like supplements aren't regulated, they don't work, that we can have like tangible, we have the evidence, we have the receipts, like we have this stuff. And then it's on us then to support and carry the brands that are doing that work.
Very cool.
And so we find that the brands, when we bring it in and we can talk to those founders, we have those founders come in and train our staff. They come in, they do a Zoom training, they get in front of our people. And so they're getting their message then directly to the customers. And so the brands that support the independents are the brands that we then in turn support, things like map pricing, because there's a lot of competition out there. And so I think definitely supporting the brands that support the independents is good all around for us.
Yeah, I think it's huge to leverage that. I think in a former episode we had Brian was talking, or the interviewer was Brian, and his health foods chain. He's like, you got to ask the brokers or the founders to educate us. And I love that didn't come out, but like a Zoom call, like even just getting some information to your staff so they can be more educated is huge. For whether a CPG or someone's pitching to retailers to offer that. And then also retailers to ask if you guys do help. Because I think on one hand, it does sit on the shelf and you're the one that has to get it to sell. Right. So you need that education, you need both, and you can make that recommendation when that customer needs something. This has been fun. I'm trying to think of more questions aligned with, I guess in a sense of the history of this operation has been here and the legacy of supporting the community. How do you guys? I know you guys are in Minneapolis, and there was some friction there, and trying to take care of the community at hand, because at a small level we're not making the legal decisions, but at another level we're a community, and just curious how did you guys deal with that? And
Well, I mean, as business owners, I think one of the things when Alina and I bought the store that we were really looking forward to was to be able to interact with our community in that kind of political arena. And so even prior to the ICE occupation, we were working with groups, sitting down with our Congress people to talk about like challenges that small businesses have, offering healthcare, things like that. So we were already in that kind of activist channel as business owners. And then when the occupation started in January, it truly was like everybody together. What can we do? Like this has just been dropped on our doorstep and we need to take action. And we did. We were able to answer a call for a Native community group in Minneapolis, looking for bulk herbs, things like that. Within 2 hours, we're driving over boxes and dropping them off. Like we just cleared our shelves. Here, take this. Those community herbal medics were getting the herbs out into, helping to treat the protesters who were being attacked. And so we were able to answer that call. And just being there, being
Yeah.
a safe place, being someplace.
People were stressed. People weren't sleeping well. People had all the same health issues and more that they're usually dealing with. And so being able to support the community and like letting them talk and vent and come together. And, you know, we definitely participated in, there was a economic blackout that lots of the small businesses all participated in. We all closed on a Friday in January. And that felt really powerful too, as a message, just to say, you know, this is not cool. And a large chunk of our, you know, customer base and shoppers in our community are immigrant people. Like this is, you know, this is all of us. We're all in this together. Nobody's, you know, above or beyond this. And so, it was tough, but seeing the community come together was really powerful.
Absolutely amazing. And there's work to be done.
Mm-hmm.
It's by no means over. We're getting a little breather right now, it feels like, but it just, I think it's uncovered how much work needs to be done. And I hope that people are realizing too, through all of this, that the where you spend your money makes a difference. And we talk a lot now about shopping locally. You know, we've stopped using Amazon for the store entirely, you know, just for office supplies and things like that. And really voting with our own dollars where we choose to spend our money, but then also encouraging our customers. You know, they know that we're pretty sticklers about what we carry. You know, there's no Nestle products on the shelf, things like that. But just understanding that when you spend $1, it is political. It just is. And how do you want that dollar to work for you? And so we try to provide the opportunities for people to spend their money responsibly as a form of their activism.
I think I'd like to bring out what you said. You know, your dollar supports something, and it can support, you know, a family like your guys is building a supplement brand or building a food product, you know, that's putting their heart and soul, or it could support a huge corporation that doesn't really mind too much of what their agenda is. So I think that's a really cool point that you brought out. I love that. It's a reoccurring theme that I've been noticing with smaller independent retailers is we vote with our dollar. Like my family does not carry Horizon milk. Like, they might give you the best price, but that's not the mission that we want to hold. We want the unique product that is a local or dairy and really cares about the environment or whatever their mission is. And so I think it's beautiful to see this reoccurring theme the more interviews I do. So I applaud you. Keep it up.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad it's a theme. I'm glad it's a trend.
I like seeing that. And I think you know, today and age, we have the most educated consumer with access and knowledge. And I think what I'm learning even in social media and being a founder myself, founder stories, and getting that message out is so important because I think there's people that want to be tied to stuff that are doing things right. And I think that is, we're seeing more and more people shifting in a direction where, you know, there is this ripple effect. I would say in 2008, when my family opened a health food store, there was not very much organic food. And now it's shifted a lot. And now there's regenerative farming. And now there's like all these different things that it's not just about producing something, but how are you putting things back into the soil? How are you treating your community? And how is this founder, you know, expressing his message or his mission? And so I think it's always cool to elaborate a little bit more on that and always share that, you know, independent retailers, we are not the biggest individuals, but we do about 40% of the market and the supplements and health food. So it's always cool to pat each other on the back. So keep it up. I'd love to do a little fire chat. It's kind of more of just like a quick little answer here and there, but I would just love to go back and forth. What's one favorite product that you guys currently sell at your store that you love?
Ooh, I love Source Naturals Mito Night. Yeah, it's like a mitochondria nighttime formula.
Very cool. Very cool.
Gosh, I'm going to say, because I'm finally taking it myself, and it is still the #1 selling supplement in the store, is Baxil. Low molecular weight sodium hyaluronan for my joints, because I need that now.
Awesome.
And surely it does work. And so that's one that it already sells obviously very, very well, but I love taking it because I can tell it makes a difference. Cool.
When you think of the operations itself and how it runs, what is one favorite thing that you like to do in your operations?
I like to cut out teeny tiny signs. really repetitive, like rote work where you can kind of daydream while you're doing it.
It fits perfectly on the shelf, like without the other stuff.
Exactly. You cut the little T signs, many of them.
Oh gosh, then there's just me with the spreadsheets.
Born in its own way.
I loved buying. I was a purchasing manager for 12 years. When I shifted over to general manager, and all of a sudden it was the accounting side and at that time payroll and everything. I was very, very lucky that it turns out I'm pretty okay with spreadsheets. And so
That's awesome.
it takes me off the floor, but there's a gratification in there too.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. What's I guess your guys' pitch to the listeners, to retailers, to different brokers that want to pitch to you? I don't know, anything that comes to mind.
The phrase that's just been occurring to me is instant gratification. Shopping in person in a brick and mortar, buying a supplement, a feel-good brand, something that is high quality. The money that you spent is staying right there in your community. I feel like the instant gratification that you get when you can come in the door and shop with us is pretty incredible. And I hope that people feel that when they come in. And I think that they do, because they tell us that they do. They really do.
I would say to other retailers and people in the industry to get involved, and there are lots of great groups that we have, like Senpa and Maho and MPA, and I mean there's just so many. Positively Natural, find people in your area, find people that are into what you're into, and see where you can help out, because it's so rewarding. And definitely the people who show up are the people who shape the industry to come. So show up, be involved. It's really important, and it's really rewarding.
Yeah, I was talking to the president of the Illuminators. It's kind of like a grocery group, and she was on one of my podcast episodes, and she was saying one of her main takeaway key phrases was "show up."
Yeah,
just show up. You don't know,
yes.
Just show up. And you may not want to go, but just show up. And so I think there is this big shift. I think even they're saying millennials like to shop in person now. And they're wanting more of that experience because they grew up with Amazon or this instant online transaction, which we do. We're a communal people. Yeah. And this is a little bit off topic, so I apologize. But I've been watching the Alone show on Netflix, and it's about these people that survive in the wilderness. And everyone that gets to the end that wins almost $500,000 is the reason why they lose is because they're tired of being by themselves. Yeah. This guy had built a civilization in the wilderness all by himself, and he had food but he gave it all in because he missed human interaction. Yep. And so I think retail in person really gives you that experience. And I believe it's going to improve the experience. And that's what retailers are starting to do. I guess when you think of your own personal, well, you did kind of mention your favorite product. I guess when you talk to people that want to aspire for the industry, maybe they're not in the industry in health or wellness, what kind of advice do you guys have for them? Or a nice little phrase like "show up" is a great one, but anything that comes to mind.
Say yes.
Say yes.
Say yes. Yeah, I think that's gotten us a long ways. Just saying yes, getting out there, push past your comfort zone. Everybody feels a little goofy when they do it at first, and then pretty soon you don't ever have to do it for the first time again. Yeah. Just do that first one, and then just keep going. Awesome. It's amazing.
Totally. Yeah. Same.
If you can do it with your best friends,
yeah, they really
that.
helps.
That is always great. That is always great to see. Man, this has been awesome. I'm so appreciative to Vitamin Retail Media for putting this together for us live at Expo West with two awesome retailers sharing their story. I mean, I think it's a beautiful for anyone to hear where their employees get to keep the legacy going. And it sounds like that's what you guys want to do. And it's beautiful when there's passion behind it. So thank you so much again for jumping on this episode of this episode produced by Vitamin Retail Media.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, cool.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow, subscribe, and leave a review. It really helps us grow and push the industry forward. Our mission is simple: support the retail industry by sharing stories, insights, and helping retailers learn from each other. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next episode.